Hello, folks, and welcome to another Wax Wag Productions. I'm your host, Brandon Wagner. Today we will be looking at the clergymen of the American Revolutionary era who supported the American Revolution and were known as the Black Robed Regiments. The term Black Robed Regiments was a term given to the clergy by the British, who saw them as an often overlooked cause of the American Revolution, as they were known to rally up their congregations in support of the War for Independence. Now, many historians today agree on the position that the Great Awakening was an event that helped to greatly influence the American Revolution. The Great Awakening was a revolutionary act itself due to the fact that it promoted religious liberty and self-interpretation of the Bible. These promotions of liberty and for Christianity directly challenged the established churches of the time, which led to the creation of new evangelical denominations and reinvigorated many Protestant denominations. This created a weakening of the established order, especially the Anglican Church, which became hostile to the Great Awakening. The hostility of the Anglican Church to the Great Awakening helped to separate itself from many American colonists, while at the same time the Great Awakening was giving American colonists a sense of unity and national identity in a shared religious experience that brought many Americans together. The fact that the Anglican Church was the Church of England would not help them in the years leading up to the American Revolution as well. Now, ironically, the most famous preacher of the Great Awakening was George Whitefield, who came from England and the Anglican Church, yet was never assigned to a church. This inadvertently led him to become a very influential traveling preacher who helped sow the seeds of religious liberty and national identity in the American colonies. Now, as the American Revolution began, a couple of prominent preachers come to mind. The first to look at is the Reverend Clark from Lexington, who was housing John Hancock and Sam Adams the night Paul Revere wrote his famous ride to alert the militias that the British were coming. Paul Revere actually rode to the Reverend Clark's home to alert everyone of the incoming British soldiers. It is reported that Adams and Hancock asked the Reverend Clark, "The people were ready to fight," in which Reverend Clark replied, "I have trained them for this very hour." It is then reported that the Reverend stood with his congregation, awaiting the redcoats on the Lexington Green. Another prominent clergyman from the American Revolution, who earns the title of being part of the Black Robed Regiment, is Peter Muhlenberg. Muhlenberg is made famous for the story in where the middle of his sermon removes his clerical robe to show his continental uniform underneath. It is reported that at the end of his sermon, Peter Muhlenberg turned to his congregation and said, "In the language of the Holy Writ, there was a time for all things, a time to preach and a time to pray, but those times have passed away. There is a time to fight, and that time is now to come." Muhlenberg then proceeds to remove his robes, revealing to his congregation his continental uniform. He then declared, "Who among you is with me?" To which reply, approximately 300 men from his church stood up and joined Peter Muhlenberg. These men would eventually become the 8th Virginia Brigade, fighting for the righteous cause of liberty. Muhlenberg's exploits would land him throughout multiple famous battles of the American Revolution, culminating with the Battle of Yorktown, which is the last battle he participated in. Now, there are many other clergymen of the American Revolution who participated in the American Revolution, either directly in battle or indirectly through their sermons, which helped to radicalize the populace. And it can be argued that without support from various Christian denominations, the American Revolution may have never happened. The American Revolution was seen by most who supported it as a glorious cause that was ordained by God. Divine providence is what created the United States. We must not forget that without these Protestant Christian roots, the United States may have never existed. And that just shows how often overlooked importance is of the Black Robe Regiments. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. God bless you, and as always, thanks for watching.